Hey, Joe from Passion Unchained here. I'm talking to Radical. He is an awesome guy that I know from my mentors forums online. He is a style coach, and because I'm helping you build a life you love and helping you build the love life that you crave, I decided to get him on because he knows a lot about style and how that interacts with your dating life. Without further ado, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Oh, hey, I'm Radical. That was a great introduction anyway. I don't have a lot more to say. I said I'm a style consultant. I've been consulting with guys in and around our community and outside of it. I try and solve what I think is quite a critical issue within dating, which is your presentation, your image. And a big part of that is obviously your clothing choices and your fashion. But I also kind of delve into a little bit of like just general looks, other things as well, like, tattoos, piercings, anything that kind of is the image. I like try and like revamp that for guys and get them to the point they want to be, so they get more noticed by women, and they're reasonably considered like more attractive and more of a prospect, sexually, especially. So yeah, that's me. I'm very happy to come on here because me and Joe did the podcast last week where we talked about Tinder. So it's nice to come on and talk about my specialty. So yeah, we're good. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, by the way, his channel is called Radical Improvements. Oh no, sorry, Impulsive Improvements, right?
No, radical improvements because he
Okay,
changed it like a year ago.
it's
But
called
like,
Radical Improvements. So he has a bunch of awesome content. You'll also see. I went on last week to talk about Tinder and Tinder photos, but he has a lot of awesome stuff about style. If you want to check that out.
yeah, because radical is my forum name, so I decided to like merge the two rather than like trying to build like this random impulsive. I don't know. It didn't click. Sometimes
Wait,
you
you
got to
weren't
personalize these
born
things.
radical? Like that's not your birth name?
No, my birth name was impulsive. I thought I'd go
Oh,
away from
okay,
from
gotcha.
from that. Sometimes you make a branding choice, it doesn't click with like after a little while, you're
Yeah.
just like, and I know you are the king of this. So I know you was it there's a video you did where like I've had like 10 different brands. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's all within the idea of like, is this all connects to kind of image, because like marketing and like to some extent your personal image, what you present is marketing. But I've also made mistakes in actual marketing that I've been
Mm.
going through the last year or so. So yeah, that's been interesting.
Yeah, so I did a video on this, and I want to hear your thoughts. Somebody asked me um, what's more important. Somebody in person actually asked me what's more important, looks or game. And obviously, my answer was the same answer that yours is going to be. But I want to hear how you explain it. Like why are looks so important? And I guess I'll just ask you like without leading, what's more important, looks or game?
I always say looks. So that's
Shocker.
it's not like, first you got to define what game is, and like that's the issue of like what is game, and then there's
Mm.
like which one would you get. Then the question is like which one is a bigger return of investment. And like I think looks wins like hands down. Like just being more sexually attractive, like
Mm.
instantly to people, is going to be, to girls, it's going to be like way bigger return on investment. And I feel like game comes from guys who've like never experienced being good looking, or like getting to a point where
Mm.
they're found physically attractive.
Mm.
I don't know. I like and there's a lot of marketing around game as well. Like the marketing around game always has to convince you that it works. Whereas
Mm.
everyone instinctively knows that good looking people get laid. You know what I mean? Like everyone
Mm.
instinctively knows that from like the age of like 14 or whatever, like whatever age you became like aware of this stuff. So like I don't have to I don't really have to prove this. I mean, everyone fucking knows it already.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things. Whereas, yeah, a game is all has to be like kind of kept artificially afloat by marketing and people
Hmm. You have
convincing
to
you.
like bring up a story of this one guy who was fat but like charmed a girl into his pants, and like, but for every story that of those, there's 100 stories where that didn't work.
Yeah. And like I'm assuming the thing is, guys do know it, like you will know in your life as well, like guys who are kind of bad looking who are very good with women.
Mm.
And there's definitely like an aspect, there are things you have to do like kind of more optimally. Like I think guys who are good at figuring out logistics and like solving problems are going to have like an advantage on people as well. Like if you
Mm.
can figure out like the simple, like, okay, she wants to have sex with me, where do we go, you're going to have like a lot
Mm.
more success as well. So there are levels, there are things that are going to make you more like, and people who are very socially successful are going to have there are lots of things,
Mm-hmm.
but I think what the way I answer it is says like which is the bigger return on investment
Mm-hmm.
you're
What's just the
putting your
low
time
hanging
into.
fruit, like the easiest
Yeah,
way to get the most results. It's
yeah,
not
exactly.
like it's not like working on your if we're defining game as social status or social, whatever. It's not like that doesn't help because it does, obviously, but it's not as much as looks, in your opinion.
Yeah, and also like the time it's going to take you to get like night game, going out to bars and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
As an unattractive person, like if you're like not particularly good looking, the time it's going to take you to get good at that, and like the just like what you're going to have to go through, like anxiety wise, and the amount of nights and bad nights sleep and stuff like that, versus I don't know, getting in the gym, sorting out your style, and taking a few good photos for Tinder. Do you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
there's such a different level of like investment between those two, and
Mm-hmm.
like they'll probably both get you to roughly the same end, and even then you'll still get more results going out if you get better looking as well. It's one of those like,
Mm-hmm.
and I think a lot of people, the problem they have is that they don't think they don't understand like self-improvement from that perspective, so they don't understand that they have the option to improve their looks in the way that like
Mm-hmm.
I think that's not obvious to a lot of guys. Like they're like, I'm stuck with my face or something like that, or
Yeah, they're like,
I'm stuck,
and they don't
yeah.
realize that losing fat will like. Do you see me on my? I'm not gonna bring up my ID, but like you see me on my ID, and like my cheeks are like that. It's
Yeah,
like, whoa, that's crazy.
yeah, and it's like guys aren't aware. Yeah, guys aren't aware of like if you lean out, you'll look a lot better. Guys aren't aware that like how much better they're looking if they get a tan, if they like, what I mean, how
Mm-hmm.
much better they look if they like get better. This is obviously big for me. If you dress up like properly and like actually give a fuck about fashion, give a damn about style, you will be amazed at just even tweaking your presentation slightly, how much that will like actually bring you like more attention. And usually like especially for Tinder, we'll talk about this as well because we did Tinder last time, but I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how much we brought up like when guys on the forum, the number one post I see from you guys is, here is my Tinder, how can we help? And like we all have our different like bugbears, and the thing I'm always looking at is like, how are you dressed in these photos? Like, are you dressed
Mm-hmm.
as someone who should be taken seriously as like a potential sexual partner by the girls who are like swiping on you?
Mm-hmm. Like, are
And
you
like,
edgy or are you coming across bland?
yeah, because if you dress bland, like Mr. Bland is like a horrible like
Mm-hmm.
if they see you as like Mr. Nice Guy, Mr. Bland, Mr. like, I don't want to say Mr. Boyfriend because I think aiming for a relationship is like actually not necessarily a bad thing. But
Mm-hmm.
like but you don't want to be Mr. Bland, Mr. Wallflower, Mr. Nice Guy. Those are like, and your clothes can really not project is the wrong word, telegraph that. You know what I mean? Even if you're not, like your
Mm-hmm.
choice of clothes can really telegraph you as
Mm.
like some, I don't know,
Yeah.
some
Have you
just
seen the new
bland.
Bond movie yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay, this is not a spoiler at all, but there's a character in it. It's hilarious. There's a character in it that's smiling a lot, and he has like khaki pants, like dress pants, and like just a white button-down shirt. And Bond makes a joke out of it. He's like, "Where'd you find the Book of Mormon?" Hilarious. Yeah. So what are some ways that guys could dress more edgy and have more sex appeal?
Yeah, so the number one that guys like fail on is they don't wear accessories. Typically, that's a big one. And yeah, I haven't actually got my rings on. I was trying to look around for them when we started recording.
Nice.
But I got the pendant on, so we're getting somewhere. I have a rule, and this is a hard rule that I give to all of my clients, and it's on a lot of my blog posts, which is 2 to 4, and you can't have less than two accessories on at any time, and you can't have more than four. The less than two is the more important part of that, because the majority of guys, the mistake they make is not wearing any.
Mm.
And typically what you'll see is they'll wear sunglasses, or they'll wear
Mm.
a watch, or they'll wear a hat, and that's where they stop. And it's like, one is not enough, because one, you might as well not be wearing any. But like anything above two, it's like, okay, this guy's actually like kind of layered some stuff over his clothing. He's kind of like, there's some intrigue there. It's kind of interesting. And it's amazing visually how much of a difference that makes. And like at
Mm-hmm.
some point, I'm going to do an article where I post photos of guys wearing one versus two versus three. You know what I mean? And just like kind of like
Yeah.
break down like just optically how that like
I
how
think
that
that's cool.
does
Yeah, I
it.
like that
Yeah.
idea. I just thought about this. My friend, he really gravitates towards like party girls and girls who, he also makes music. So he gravitates towards girls who are into, like music festivals. And every time I see him, he has like 3 or 4 music festival wristbands on his wrist. And I mean, that's absolutely perfect because A, it shows who he is, and his fashion is on point. And I don't think, I mean, if he might be super intuitive, or he just doesn't talk about the work he does because he looks amazing and his fashion's always on point. But like the cool thing about that is not only is it just like cool accessories, but it also is it's showing him, and it's also attracting the perfect kind of girls to him.
Mhm. Yeah, 100%. I like those are kind of like those used to be my kind of girls as well. I got party girls, yeah. That's a whole topic. I might do a video about that in the future. Basically, if you want to date bartenders and if you want to date like those other girls. So yeah, accessories are a big one. Guys don't wear enough necklaces. I want to see more guys wearing necklaces. I want to see my guys wearing rings. Rings
Mm.
are a big one. And there's just so much you can do that isn't the play it safe stuff like watches. Like I think watches are like a real play it safe. They can look really good, but they are automatically quite a formal accessory, and they are a very like I don't know. They're like entry level, but if
Mm.
you play around them and you have other things on as well, like say you have a metallic like a silver metallic watch, and then you have rings that are also silver, and you have a silver necklace. You've made like a color scheme between your
Mm.
like accessories and jewelry, and like and matching metals is like a really quick way to look like you've given some thought to how your appearance is,
Mm.
things like that. And
Would you
then
say
yeah,
silver or gold is better?
silver is preferable to me 'cause it's more versatile, and
Mm.
it works with more complexions. I don't suit gold in my opinion.
Mm.
And then like gold is naturally more flashy as well. I don't know. You can wear if you wear too much gold, it's like and also a lot of guys wear fake gold, and
Yeah.
it looks brassy. Like
Yeah,
you can
and
tell
if you
fake
have
gold because it looks
like if you
brassy.
wear stainless steel, like you never said it was silver, it doesn't have to be silver. It could be stainless steel, it's not a big deal. But if you wear a
Sorry, I
gold
just
colored thing, it's like if it's not gold, then you're lying.
yeah. Sorry, I just knocked everything over.
How dare you? How dare you ruin the podcast? Um, yeah, I'm curious about what are some guidelines? Like, if one of the viewers just walked into a store, what guidance would you give them to find the right stuff?
If I only had like 5 minutes, I was just like, I don't know, or do I have an hour? Because if I had an hour, this is a long
Sure, just
instruction.
keep going. I mean, we can go for as long as I got battery.
They want to be going for like slimmer and skinnier fits, that's for certain. So you want to not be hiding, like especially if you're like lean and muscular or either of those. You do want to be lean. It's hard to plan around guys who are overweight because the first thing I'll tell them is you need to lose weight, and then we're probably going to be rebuying a lot of the stuff in like a couple of months when
Mm,
you've like lost significant amounts of weight. But if you're lean, you want to show it off that you're lean. You don't want to try and hide it. I actually get quite a few lean guys who wear like baggy shirts, and I'm like,
mm,
why are you doing this? And it's just like, and guys who are
mm.
skinny are insecure about being skinny. But in my experience, being skinny doesn't really matter that much when it comes to like dating, especially. Like you'd much prefer to be a skinny guy to being overweight. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like
Yeah,
especially
it's definitely better. I mean, obviously, it'd be nice to be lean with a lot of muscle, but being skinny is definitely better than being overweight.
yeah, and also you can pull off like the rakish look if you're skinny, and also like places like Zara, if you look at their models are going to be thinner than you. I don't care how skinny you are, their models are thinner than you. You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
everyone's like stick thin models, and
true.
so a lot of their stuff is kind of built for that. And so, especially if you go to Zara, which I do recommend for a lot of stuff, especially t-shirts, the frame it's going to fit your frame no matter how like as long as you're lean, it's going to
Hmm.
fit your frame.
Yeah, I
Um,
actually started to a few months ago, maybe like a year ago, I started buying small. I was fitting medium because I'm like 5'7", so I'm like a little bit on the shorter end. And I was buying medium everything, and then I was losing weight, and I tried out a small, and I'm like, wow, this like fits perfectly. I just got a size smaller, and I look a lot leaner and a lot better because it hugs my form more.
yeah, form hugging is what we want, but we don't want like muscle fit lycra kind of style. We want
Mm-hmm.
like we still want to get in the middle ground. That's why I prefer slim. Slim fit's a good one because it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like in between. But then I do prefer skinny jeans. So it's like it's tighter fit. We're moving towards tighter fits, but don't go to like athletic lycra kind of fits. That's too far.
Mm-hmm. You're
Um,
not wearing a compression shirt. You're just going
nah,
out.
nah. Although an old mentor of mine, like I didn't know him, but good looking loser used to recommend occasionally wearing like athletic thermals underneath jackets, and I don't really
Mm.
recommend that because too many of them look
Yeah.
obviously athletic.
I
The
was
second,
one time I was this was what like a actually dude, this was exactly a year ago actually, like to the day. I didn't even think about it. This is crazy. I went to a jujitsu competition. I competed in a jujitsu competition. I suck at jujitsu. I've only had like 3 or 4 months training at that point, and then I stopped afterwards. I might get back into it, but I would. Do you know no-gi jujitsu? What they wear, like the kind of stuff they wear?
yeah, doesn't Rogan do that? Is that like what he does? Like his
Yeah,
yeah
yeah.
yeah
Well,
yeah.
he actually trains at the place that I used to train in Austin, like the exact same place. Apparently, he comes on Tuesdays, but I left before he came. But it was he wears they call it a rash guard. It's like a essentially it's a compression shirt. It's like a synthetic compression shirt that is like skin tight. And then for the pants, you can either wear I forgot what they call. I think it's called might also be called a rash guard. I might be getting them mixed up, but it's essentially like just a thin piece of synthetic that hugs your legs, or you can wear like Muay Thai boxers, like Muay
Mm.
Thai shorts kind of things. And I had weighed in that morning, and then I went to the grocery store to buy like some kind of energy thing to like give me some energy before my competition. I got like Jelly Belly had these sports beans that had like some sugar in them and some electrolytes. It was kind of cool, and so I bought like a few bags of those, and then but like I just went straight from weigh-ins to HEB, the grocery store, and then I went back to back to like the competition. And so I walked in with my like skin tight everything, and I was like, I'm pretty buff. I'm buffer now than I was then, but I was still pretty buff and like lean then. And I walk into the grocery store and people were just like looking at me, obviously because I also kind of looked weird because I wasn't wearing the right kind of thing to go out in public. But people were like, some random old dude was like, "Wow, you're super buff," and I'm like, "Thanks." It's kind of random, but I don't
I get
suggest doing that. Like you probably don't suggest doing
nah.
that either.
I get asked about gym wear a lot, and my honest answer is I don't really give a damn like what you wear to the gym. So and guys are really like, what do you want to, what do I wear to look good in the gym? And I was like my whole philosophy with the gym is go there, work out, leave, and like I don't really
Yeah.
care about how I look, and like I don't do anything like I don't approach in the gym or anything like that. I just never have.
Mm.
And like because like I'm very like business focused when I get to the gym. I see the weights, I do the weights.
Yeah.
I don't really talk to anyone. It's not social for me, and I just
Mm.
leave.
You
And
know what you
like
want to do, and you do it, and you get
yeah,
out.
I think I've approached like maybe twice, and that was just to prove that I could do it. That was the only reason I ever did. And I've never really thought of
Yeah.
myself as like, I'm not going to the gym to make friends, meet girls, or do anything other than lift that weight. So
Sure.
when guys are like, what do you wear to the gym? I'm just honest. I'm like, I wear a baggy, oversized t-shirt and some shorts. And like, even though the shorts are above the knee, which is another rule I use, but like, yeah, I wear Converse because I squat in them. Like literally
Mm.
everything I wear is just comfort and can I squat in it. That's like all I like. That's all I really like
Mm.
care about. And maybe one day I'll get serious about how I look in the gym, but that's like the one area of my life where I absolutely don't care. And I like kind of like want to
Mm.
keep it that way.
Yeah, because I mean,
Yeah,
think about it. You're not trying to meet anybody there. I mean,
no,
when you're going out in any other respect, your goal is to maybe talk to somebody, but like
mm,
otherwise,
yeah.
in the gym, you just don't give a shit.
Yeah. And sorry, we'll get back to the rules of like if someone had like to ask me and we're in a shop or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, slim fit, skinny fit, especially skinny fit jeans and slim fit t-shirts. So that's good. If you can only buy one, you buy skinny jeans and slim fit t-shirts. I'm more relaxed on what you get in outerwear. So if it's a relaxed fit that works or it's a normal fit that works, that's fine. Um,
Outerwear is in like jackets or what?
Jackets, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then colors, you want to stick to male neutral colors, and this is quite well known amongst like menswear. Like if you've read any menswear blogs, they usually say male neutral colors, male neutral colors, and this is like that and fit are usually
Mm-hmm.
like hammered into people's minds
Mm.
if they've ever read any menswear blogs, and that's for a good reason because male neutral colors just look better
Well,
because
what are some examples of neutral colors?
So you got tones which are safe, which is like gray, black, and white are the
Mm-hmm.
tones, and then obviously there's gradations of gray. Like this is two different kinds of gray technically because there's like mid gray
Mm-hmm.
and this is heather gray. And then you've got it goes all the way to dark gray or whatever. And then you get male neutral colors, which are like certain colors that like I don't know. It's hard to describe what they are, but you'll know when I say them, you'll know. It's like
Like a navy, like a dark blue here.
navy, yeah, navy, olive, burgundy's one, beige is one. These are all the more like kind of bold and solid, and like they have to be solid as well. So the more
Mm-hmm.
bold those colors are, like burgundy's a bold color, like military green olive, that's quite a bold color to wear. Navy's a very quite a bold, striking color.
Mm-hmm.
And those are like, yeah, those are the ones that everyone kind of recommends because they go with a lot of complexions and it's hard to look bad in those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're versatile as well. You can kind of swap them around a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So
Beige
no
goes really
hot pink.
no hot pink, no pastels. Yeah, no pastels and no bright, like no bright red. No, oh
Mm-hmm.
god, I keep on that thing. Damn. No bright red. No, like I don't really like light blue, but a lot of guys do wear light blue and get away with
Mm-hmm.
it
Yeah.
quite well. You
What
can wear
about
light blue.
like a salmon color?
That's like a pastel.
It's a pastel,
So
so no pastels.
yeah, no pastels. And also, sorry, I'm just fixing this again.
It's all good.
Uh, no pastels and no patterns and graphics at the moment.
Yeah.
Graphics are a different one, but patterns, I'm like, no, there's no point in wearing patterns too much just because it's not versatile. So it kind of limits to what you can combine it with.
Mm.
You don't want to combine. I'd rather, if you're going to buy pattern stuff, I'd rather you buy patterned outerwear than t-shirts.
Hmm.
Just
Like
because
maybe a button-up shirt that you wear open over a neutral color or
yeah,
something.
yeah, like buttons, like not Hawaiian, not like gaudy Hawaiian, but like kind of
Yeah, but
cool.
like a
You
pattern, like
can,
a muted
yeah,
pattern. Yeah.
you can get like summer shirts that are quite cool, like with good colors on them. But I don't want like a pattern t-shirt is just really difficult to match with stuff
Hmm.
in like a nice way. And also patterns are kind of out, whereas graphics have been in and out a little bit. Like graphics were really in like 10 years ago. Like I don't mean everyone remembers like 2012, 2013, when like everyone was wearing graphics with like naked girls on them. Do you remember like those days? Like people were walking around with like
I was
you went out in
18,
clubs and you were like
19 at the time. I
okay.
wouldn't have remembered.
When I was at uni, there was a point where everyone was wearing graphic tees, like
Mm.
for like 4 years, and that was 2011 to 2014. I was at
Okay.
university. Um, Although English style can be a bit different. I don't actually know if it's been exactly the same everywhere. But yeah,
Sure.
so solid colors, no patterns, male neutral. Those are really good tips to start with.
Mm.
Buy some accessories so that you don't actually have stuff to use. Just start collecting jewelry that you like. I like guys to personalize it because if you want to be wearing it, so don't be buying stuff you don't want to wear. So
Yeah.
like it's actually quite an interesting journey I have consulting with like guys and being like, what kind of jewelry would you be excited to wear? Because I want to get you wearing some, but I don't want to force anything on you. So we're gonna now sit down and brainstorm like
Hmm.
ideas. And some guys can be more stubborn than others. And some guys I have to like kind of just like be a bit mean and be like, you know, you're gonna have to wear this necklace and you're gonna have to wear it for like 2 weeks until you feel comfortable. But there are plenty of guys before. I have a good story that I tell. I think it's like the first guy I ever consulted with. I asked him like, "What do you want? Like, here's a page of necklaces. Can you just kind of pick something that you kind of vibe with?" And
Mm.
he found this. It's like a Ganesh, like the Hindu god Ganesh or whatever,
Mm.
and it was like an elephant. Oh, it might have been Thai. It might have been Thai.
That's
But
kind
it
of
was like an
neat.
elephant. It was elephant, and yeah, the reason he did this is because his grandmother was obsessed with elephants. Like, it was a big
Mm.
childhood memory of his that he was like obsessed. She was obsessed with elephants, and I was like, cool, get that. And he wore it forever because
Nice.
it became like a sentimental thing for him. And yeah, I want you to be wearing these things that
Yeah,
you
wear
buy.
something you like, not like
Yeah.
yeah. 'Cause, like this one, it's Let me see if I can put it in front of the camera. You can't really see it very well, but it's like a half. It's like a broken skull, and it's this Oh, sorry, you probably can't hear me very well because my microphone's over here. It's a broken skull, and it's like this tarnished copper. But it was actually like when I got it, it was I like the look of it, but it came in like a super bright, gaudy silver color, and then I sanded off the silver color and then tarnished it. And so for me, DIY is a huge thing that I love. And so the fact that I had improved this on my own and made it into my own thing with my own hands was like super important to me, and I love this one so much. Like there's a couple other ones that I have, but I don't wear them because I like this one so much because I actually had a hand in it, and that's one of my passions is working with my hands.
I know where you got that from. I know what website that came from originally.
I'm not ashamed of it. Maybe I should be.
No, it's all right. I've got a video coming out. I haven't done the video yet, but I've got everything. So I bought like a bunch, like a bucket load of accessories from Shein, which is a Chinese like wholesaler.
Hmm.
And I'm going to review like the quality and like nice little preview. All of the pendants are terrible, but I can cannibalize like three of them into one redeemable pendant
Okay.
just by like taking parts that are like useful out of them. So that's cool.
Nice.
And I'm not like I'm not like you. I'm not like someone who knows how to like craft and stuff like that. But I do know how to like undo certain things and just switch them all
Hmm.
together, I guess.
Yeah, because like
But
this, because like it came with this chain, which is a shitty chain because it's actually not even stainless steel. It's like copper coated in some silver colored metal, and which is wearing off. But the clasp completely broke, and so I had to repair that, which is like extremely simple. Like I have all the tools and the materials because I'm a crafter, and I just have them in my chest over here. But like that, I had to put jump rings on and put a new lobster claw fastener on it. But I guess if somebody had never crafted in their life, they'd be completely confused and they'd probably buy a whole new chain. So there were issues with this, but I just knew enough to go get around them.
yeah, I mean, yeah, there are definitely things I've kind of like I use Depop sometimes to buy like more expensive stuff as well, and I've cannibalized certain things. Not cannibalized is the wrong word. I've altered certain things to like make them better. Like
Hmm.
Like you can't really tell because of the black background, but I'm wearing an Alpha Industries jacket,
Maybe you
and it
could
comes.
turn on the lights so we could see the jacket.
I don't know if it will come up very well.
It looks kind of neat. I mean, you can kind of see
Yeah,
it.
but on one side there's a tag. It's like this bright red tag that comes with
Mm,
all Alpha Industries jacket. It's kind of part of their brand. So they
yeah,
have like these tags on all their jackets, like the red tag. If you
sure.
buy an Alpha Industries jacket, just take it off because the baseline jacket's really cool and really nice and fits really well.
That does
But
look cool. I really like the look of that jacket. It's coming into focus now.
oh, is it nice?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's bright orange on the
Yeah, the inside is
inside.
kind of neat. That contrast is kind of cool.
Yeah, not that I ever showed the inside very much, but like, yeah, this is the best bomber I found on the market. If anyone finds a better bomber than Alpha Industries, you're lying. But also, like, they're
Yeah.
just like, yeah, it's what I'm just gonna have
I
to
have
find.
a Calvin Klein faux leather jacket that I'm starting to wear since it's getting cold. I really like.
I've
Is
I had to recently start giving advice. I like cold weather, but I realized some people live in like Arctic weather, so I had to start like coming up with a random advice. And like I don't know, I layer hoodies underneath. I do what teenagers do. You know, what I mean, it's there is a thing with like if you're living in like 20 degrees under. I'm talking centigrade, obviously not
yeah.
Fahrenheit, but like prioritize not dying over your style when it's like 20 under. Like honestly, like there is a point where like guys are like, I'm walking around in New York and during like a deep freeze when it's like -10. I'm like, mate, I don't. Why do you care about how you look in that weather? There's no girls out there. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
So
like you're
yeah,
going out in like just like a small like skin tight shirt and like skinny
yeah,
jeans and it's blizzard. It's like, yeah, no, don't
yeah.
do
I
that.
really cared about helping when the guys were come up with this idea, and I was really like, yeah, I need to help these guys. And then I realized, like, no, I'm going to advise for a certain temperature, and then if it's anything below that, stop prioritizing how you look because at that point it's
Yeah.
just survival. It's just like, you know what I mean? Guys who live in like Canada and like trying to ask me about, yeah, just buy a decent coat.
What's your take on tank tops?
No,
Okay.
sorry. You might cut-offs are better. So like what do you call it? Sleeveless shirts are better than actual tank tops, in my opinion.
Mm.
So they look a little bit nicer. Um, I prefer overweight shirts these days, and they're
What does that
more in
mean?
trend. So you get these t-shirts that are like oversized and
Mm.
heavyweight. So I meant heavyweight t-shirts. So
Okay.
they are surprisingly, even though they're thicker fabric and they're bigger, way cooler to wear than like tight t-shirts. So tight
Mm.
t-shirts for me, like I sweat through them. Yeah, I understand. In hot weather, I understand. Like everyone's just like they want to wear tank tops. But if you try the heavyweight t-shirts, and see how much like cooler it feels like in one of those than it does like in a normal t-shirt. And you might find that that's good halfway house. But the worst combination I see, and I see this from Americans too much, is tank tops and 3/4 length shorts. And I really want that to like go away. Like I don't understand why people still wear 3/4 length shorts. If your shorts are below your knee, burn them. Like honestly, no, no, we've moved well past that being like a good trend. Sorry to everyone who still wears like shorts below their knees. Like it's just not done anymore, boys.
I think some of it might be out of insecurity for like showing your legs if you don't feel like you like your legs.
Do you not like your legs, Joe?
I love my legs. My calves, I have calves for days. I literally, it's hilarious. I was actually sleeping with this girl and she said, she gave me the most amazing but unique compliment I've ever gotten. She said that I should make an Instagram for my calves.
That's funny.
I did, but then I lost the login for it, unfortunately.
Milking the calves. That'd be a good name.
Yeah, I was milking the calves. But apart from my legs, so like I think for a while I really hated to. For a while I was insecure about my legs, and I wanted to only wear shorts below my knees because I felt it was like it just felt like I was like I have a lot of empathy for girls wearing like bikinis. It's like it feels like you're naked. It's like whoa, that's weird. But like what would you say to a guy that's like he's not overweight, but like he's just not used to showing his body like that?
With like with slim fit t-shirts or just like
Yeah, with anything really. Like maybe he's nervous for slim fit t-shirts or like higher cut shorts or whatever.
the thing with like any clothing is you're not going to get comfortable wearing it unless you do. I know that's a really like that might be a poor answer to some people, but I did this video, one of my favorite videos I've done called like drastically changing your style will feel weird at first, and you don't get to skip it. Like you don't get to skip. Like no one really gets to skip that. There are some guys who don't really like, I guess, think about that stuff too much, and they get to kind of skip it, and they're kind of comfortable. But like, you think I felt comfortable wearing like pendants and like stuff, and wearing like I didn't even feel comfortable wearing hats for like
like when I started first wearing rings, I was so self-conscious about it.
Yeah, your self-consciousness, like the self-consciousness goes away the more you do it.
Yep.
Like because you realize it's not such a big deal. You realize that people don't like throw like rotten tomatoes at you in the street, like stuff like that. And it's just like it's the same with like approaching and talking to girls. It's like you know what I mean? It just doesn't. It's not as big a deal as people make it out. And like this, and it's the same thing with wearing new clothes. And it's not like you're wearing a massive sign over your head saying like loser or something like that. You're not, you know what I mean? You're just wearing slightly more revealing shorts. This is weird because I've never actually had this insecurity with my legs, but that's because I have massive legs. But I have had insecurity about like, I don't know, my stomach, like having like a big gut and like having like love handles. Like I used to carry weight. I carry weight really badly when I get a bit overweight. Like I gain in like all of the areas that are really obvious. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and like, yeah, I think to be fair, everyone does. But like, yeah, I get big love handles and I get a big gut, and like that happens really quickly. So I felt that, you know what I mean? I felt that. But the only way you'll get, like, to be fair, the only way you're going to get rid of that is by getting leaner. And also the only way you're going to get used to wearing tighter clothing is to wear tighter clothing. It's just there's not really there's not any way around it. I can't give guys some like magical like mental work to get around it. You just 100% experience it.
It's one of those things you just gotta do it. Like when I was going to the gym, at one point I decided to take my shirt off, and even before I like looked good without my shirt, because I knew that would help motivate me to get abs and to look better at the gym if I worked out without my shirt. And then of course I started getting abs, I started looking good, and at one last week I did my first backflip actually at a gymnastics gym. And it was like a gymnastics gym where kids were also practicing. And so I was like, well, I probably shouldn't take my shirt off here. That just, that's not really the kind of gym this is. And it felt so weird. Like at first it felt so weird to take my shirt off and work without my shirt. I was like, this is weird. Everyone's looking at me. They don't like my body. This is weird. Like I shouldn't have my shirt off. And then now, like I was working out, essentially, it's like doing gymnastics. at a gym with my shirt on, and I kept having the urge to take my shirt off, and I'm like, why is my shirt still on? Like, what's going on? What's wrong? And like my body was confused. It's like, hey, we're working out. Like, your shirt should be off now. It was the opposite. It just felt so weird. So like at some point, if you just do it, you'll probably feel it will feel weird if you try to go back.
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, people just aren't going to react the way you think they are. Like, I know if they do, it's going to be rare. And like, you just, I don't know, it sucks when it happens, but it just, yeah, it's just not going to be as big of a deal as you're making it in your head. It just isn't. Like, that's the truth of it,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest. And like, yeah, I think with the style as well, it's the same as Tinder, and you've got to own being someone who wants sex as well, someone who wants to date, someone who wants
Yes.
to be
Yes.
like wants to
Yes.
project like that kind of image. So you have to get comfortable with that. Like you have to get comfortable doing that, and that is a process. Like that's actually a
Mm-hmm.
process. Like more so than like being comfortable wearing slimmer clothing is being comfortable like being openly like a viable sexual partner
Mm-hmm.
to like the market. You know, like, that's
100%. That
something.
actually might
Yeah.
be the reason why you're uncomfortable is because that is underneath everything.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
because like you're like, oh, if I look good, then that means that people will know that I'm looking for sex, and it's like, well, yeah. Like you look at that guy that like, but then also one of the things is like if you look at a guy who's super like I've always whenever like I see a guy in the street like hitting on a girl, even if he gets rejected, like I never think, oh, that loser, he got rejected. I think that guy's fucking ballsy as shit. And then like if you're in his position, he's probably feeling a little insecure if he got rejected. I mean, I wouldn't at this point because like I've gotten rejected more times than most people tried, but which is why I've gotten laid than more times than most people. But like he probably thinks like, oh shit, I just got rejected. But like everyone else is thinking when they're looking at you, oh, that guy's a fucking baller. He went for it.
100%, 100%. You get respect, you know. And the other thing, that's the other thing about like dressing like but the reason I would tell you to dress like kind of cutting edge, kind of like a fuck boy, kind of like the Instagram models, that kind of thing. Like, because I can tell you how to do it. Like, I can tell guys, I can break down exactly what to wear. But like, they
Mm-hmm.
have to like kind of put like locate their balls and actually go in with it. You know what I mean? Actually like commit. And the reason you kind of want to do that as well is not just the female attention, but it's the respect that you get
Mm-hmm.
from it's like the halo effect thing, but like with fashion. So and then you do get that a little bit with refined clothing as well. But for the purposes of like, if your goal is to like date girls who are in their 20s and their early 30s and whatever, you're going to get more bang for your buck dressing like streetwear, dressing like
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, like kind of fashion influencers do. So that's why I push that. And you do get a lot of social respect and like nights out for dressing that way as well, for like being well dressed. So
Yeah.
it like opens doors. It just actually legitimately opens doors to you and changes people's
Mm-hmm.
perception of you. And it's especially if you're one of those guys who wants people's perception of you to change, this is a hell of a good thing to have in your arsenal. That your presentation is how you want to be perceived. You know?
Mm-hmm. And think about it, like, yes, get leaner, but like you can change your style instantly. Like it takes a minute to take a shirt off and put another shirt on.
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty quick.
Um,
I went out with Andre, who's a mutual friend of ours, and he's really good with fashion. And I could just see like how people reacted to him, and like how it's part of it is how he held himself, how confident he was, but like his fashion's on point, and so it's
oh yeah, it's like
I
elite,
could see it.
like actually elite. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
There
hundred
aren't a lot of
percent.
guys I've met. Like, well, no, there's not a lot of guys I know that I'm like rubber stamp. That's elite style, but like elite's definitely there.
Yeah. Well, by
Um,
definition, elite's elite.
sorry.
By definition, elite's elite. Like there aren't going to be many.
Yeah. Like especially like, but I feel like I know guys. I don't. There are guys I don't know who I think are elite. You know what I mean? But like
Hmm.
there are other guys I actually know. Like yeah, it's like
Yeah, like
yeah, it's elite.
Blake. I mean, Blake, he'll admit his body fat content isn't elite, or at least it might be now, or it's getting close because he's lost a lot of fat since the last time I saw him. But he's one of my, I previously worked with him, but he also trains me. But his physique, his muscle, his muscle content is absolutely elite. He's me, but with 30 more pounds of muscle, and I'm already buff. And I know that I say that because I know his weight. Like I know how much he weighs. Like he tells me how much he weighs because we keep each other accountable. And he's I think only an inch taller than me, and he's 30 more pounds, and it's all muscle, 100% muscle. It's like, well, I can say he's elite. And then I also know another guy who I see at the gym, and he's like, I don't know, he maintains 7% body fat. I look at him, he's like either 7 or 8% body fat, and he maintains it, and he works out really hard. And so it's like wow, like this guy can maintain like 8% body fat year round. It's crazy. That's elite.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. I have a long way to go body wise personally, but like there is a plan, so I'm on it. But like yeah, it's like there are things in this game like like we both come from the same kind of like idea framing of this where it's like your looks, your style, your ability to talk to girls, and then like your like ability to like actually go like follow through and stuff like that, like killer instinct,
Hmm.
whatever. But there are things that take a while. So like learning how, like for some guys, learning how to talk to girls takes a while. For some guys, getting the body, there's nothing you can do. You can't really skip the phase
Yeah.
of like getting the body. Style, but with my help, I can get someone there within like a week. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you
Like
just got to go to Zara, buy a
you're
bunch
only
of
limited.
shit with your
You're only
advice,
limited
and
by
then
your
you're good.
budget. Yeah, you're limited by your budget
Yeah.
and by like how much time I can give you and things like that, or like if it's within me, or it's like if it's following Instagram might take a little bit longer because you'll have to like learn some things. But like there's definitely like a much shorter runway to like actually getting
Hmm.
above average. And as I said, we really need to be above average, like above like a certain threshold to really get like the benefits out of this. So yeah,
So, what are some good Instagram? You mentioned Instagram a few times, and I know I specifically asked you this like a week ago. But what are some good, or 2 weeks ago? What are some good Instagram models to follow for the
uh,
people watching?
I guess like so the obvious well to me they're obvious when I say they're obvious. Some guys have never heard of them, and I'm like, how have you never heard of these guys? And like so there's like obviously Magic Fox. I'm gonna say obviously too many times. Magic Fox is the guy, like the guy that like a lot of people push you towards first in terms of like modern style. He's I don't know if he's still keeping up with trends like he used to. He's got his own clothing range now and stuff. He's a good one. Rowan Rowe is a good one for like refined. I think I sent you him as well.
Hmm.
Then I've got the streetwear guys that I follow who are like kind of smaller accounts, like Luca De Brito and Miari. I am Miari. You can throw these. I don't know if you're going to edit this in, but you can throw up the names, or I can give them to you for the intro if you'd like.
Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time editing. So if it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not.
You can look up roughly what I've said and find it.
Yeah, like I've looked them up. I mean, he obviously texted them to me, so I just copied them. But yeah, it's easy to find them from what Radical just said.
The easiest thing to do is go to at Men with Street Style. That's not a one. That's not one guy. That's they repost basically outfits from influencers.
Yeah, he
That's
actually
the
followed me back, or the account followed me back when I followed them.
nice. They are like the yeah. They're like they always branch out towards guys who are interested in fashion, see if they can get new because they'll message guys and be like, "Yo, can we post your outfits and whatever."
Nice.
But yeah, they're like a really good like they just collate fashion
Mm-hmm. Looks like a
menswear Instagram.
conglomerate.
Yeah.
It's like yeah.
That's the fastest way you can like keep up to date with like what kind of looks are, but not everything that gets posted there I'm a fan of. So it's more a case of like, oh, I vibe with that, I dig that, I don't really like that. That looks a little bit I don't know if I don't know if they're really good there. Um, and
It's like
then
why did that guy have hot pink on? That's weird.
guys ask me how do you follow trends quite a lot. I'm going to do a full video on this, but do be aware that I spend anywhere from half an hour to 2 hours a day looking at Insta to keep up with stuff. So it's like and I do that. That's sometimes sometimes that's just because I get like lost in it. But like I always have like a minimum of about half an hour a day where I like check everything
Hmm.
and like see if anyone's doing anything randomly new. And I also visit retailers and see new lines. And I occasionally look up catalogs and like there's a lot of stuff I do to keep up with like trends. So it's not the easiest thing in the world, but it's fairly easy if you're going to follow like if you followed a couple of like really on the point fashion guys on Instagram, they'll keep you up to date enough. Like they really if
Hmm.
just by scrolling through your Instagram and seeing stuff and maybe copying outfits. It's not
Yeah.
the worst thing in the world to just go and copy some Instagram outfits. So that's completely fine.
Hmm.
The beauty of style is that you can just rip off and duplicate without really anyone like knowing because I mean it's just
Yeah.
in your own life that you're wearing stuff, isn't it? So
You can just do whatever. I guess let's sum everything up you said, and then I want to see if you have anything else you want to share with everybody, and then of course I'll give you an outro and an opportunity to share how you can help people more. But to sum up, I would and add or correct me if I sum it up wrong. Neutral masculine colors, which are shades of gray, navy, olive, burgundy, but no pastels, no crazy bright colors. Two minimum accessories, and four is a soft maximum. You might go
Yeah.
above that or around that. But
I would say with that, if you have multiple rings, that's one, by the way, as well. That's how I view it. So if you have
if you
like
have what
multiples of the
rings?
same, if you have multiples of the same
Oh,
thing,
so
that's
this is
one.
this is one.
Yeah, theoretically, I'd almost say that's two, because just like you have on
Okay.
both hands, but like that's
Yeah.
quite a few. Like you have like four on, so like that's kind of pushing it. But if I had two on one hand, I wouldn't count that
Yeah.
as more than one.
Okay.
At the moment, I'm wearing two because I'm wearing a hat and a like a pendant. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, I'm actually not sure yet what the optimal fashion for YouTube is. I'm actually still working. I think I'm still working this out. Like I feel like the jacket's almost too much. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like
Hmm.
it's more about like going lower. So I
Yeah,
spoke to
because
one of the
being
stylists as well.
open.
Yeah.
It also depends on your subject matter, I'm sure. Like if you're like a personality, like
If you're like Greg Doucette, then you gotta be different. You gotta like make sure that you have your own like intensity.
so like you gotta sorry, Coach Greg. I love you very much. I follow your shit, but it also depends. Like if you're a certain personality, then you want to appear larger than life. So I mean that's an interesting thing. I'd be curious to hear if you crack the YouTube
We'll see.
fashion code.
We'll see. But yeah, male neutral colors, like you said, the accessories, wear it, just wear accessories. That's the simplest advice I can give on that.
Hmm. And then Zara's a good place to go, right?
Zara's a great place to go. I did a
Awesome.
video about their t-shirts this week. But yeah,
Nice.
they're really good because they, like I said, with slim and like so. The other advice is keep it slim, skinny, keep it
Hmm.
tight. And the reason we love Zara so much, those of us who are in like style, is because they kind of bring everything in just a little bit tighter. They kind of bring everything in that
Yeah.
little bit more skinny fit. They have like super slim stuff. They have like like their standard fit is tighter than the other fits. Like it's just
Okay.
and it comes in at the waist. It like comes in at your shoulder. Like and it just
Nice.
snug.
Yeah, coming in at
Yeah.
the waist is super important. Like as I started getting leaner and started buying small instead of medium, it's like, oh, that's the first thing I noticed is like, oh, I feel like I can actually feel the contact of fabric on the side of my
You didn't
abdomen.
lose that fat to not show that you have a thinner waist. You
I
know what
know,
I mean?
right?
Yeah, yeah. You didn't lose that fat to then go around wearing like moo-moos. Like,
It's
no.
not easy. Like these past few days, I've actually been going back. Like I'm talking with my trainer Blake. I told you guys about him. I'm talking with my trainer. Like I've been fucking up these past few days, and we're back on the ball. Like I just completely changed my diet today, and it seems to have worked. But like I didn't go through all this hardship. It's not easy. Like it's not easy to lose fat, especially if you want to get to elite status, like I'm about to get to. Like when it comes to body fat content in the next few months, like you don't like it. It's hard. Your body's fighting yourself the whole way, and that's why it's attractive because it's like unfakeable proof that you have discipline. That's essentially why girls love guys who have abs so much. It's not the abs themselves. It's actually somewhat unhealthy to have abs. It's just like this guy has discipline and you can't fake it.
At a certain point, your body's desire for homeostasis is like actively like trying to prevent your goals. It's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like we're always fighting homeostasis mentally as well. But like not in this, it's not the same thing. It's not the same biological thing. But it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, the comfort. You're fighting comfort.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. Cool. And what? Is there anything else I'm leaving out? I'm sure I'm leaving out something.
I've probably forgotten what it is. Just if you change your wardrobe, wear them as much as possible. I actually tell people
Yeah.
to throw out their old clothing, donate it, whatever. If you've got old clothing that you know is trash, donate, throw out, whatever, get rid of it so you have no option to wear
Hmm.
your new clothing, and then just keep wearing the new clothing until it's comfortable, until it's you. And that's the best advice I can give you for the whole mental side of like, I look different. I don't dress like this. It's like, yeah, well, you will, if you keep going, you will. Like if you dress like that for a year, you dress like that.
Yeah.
That's like how it
Yeah, it didn't
goes.
take too long for me to start being comfortable wearing shorts above my knees. That's another thing, shorts above your knees.
It's a very
Um,
specific one, but like
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Americans, please
it
stop
didn't
wearing
take long for me to
free-for-all
be
shorts.
comfortable with that. Like I used to only wear pants, even though like every time I showed my calves, girls were like, "Oh my God, your calves are amazing." Like I've gotten that specific compliment several times unprompted, so like I know it's legit. But like I was still uncomfortable because I was uncomfortable like being a guy who's looking for sex. And I guess that's another thing I forgot is like a lot of the reason you might be uncomfortable is because you need to be comfortable being a guy who's looking for sex.
100%, 100%. And yeah, you need to be comfortable that people's perception of you is that you are a sexual, like you are a sexual, viable sexual partner if they're a
Mm-hmm.
woman. And everyone has to know that you take your image seriously. Like don't worry about people thinking you're try hard or stuff like that. You're a person that takes they how they you take your presentation seriously. And I don't care if you wear streetwear or refined or you go more refined and wear like suits, whatever. You're someone that and like the you don't you know what I mean? There is no one that I don't really think there's too many successful people. I was having this conversation with another friend of ours who goes by Mac on the forums, and I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
telling
yeah,
him
yeah. No,
like
yeah.
I was talking about Nelson Mandela and Gandhi and how like the way they
Nelson Mandela.
the way they dressed and looked was on purpose. That wasn't like accidental, you know.
Mm,
Gandhi wasn't wearing what he was wearing like accidentally, and Mandela was not wearing the traditional African garb accidentally. It was
mm,
done with purpose, and they were serious people who were dressed for political reasons the way they dressed. And it's like
mm.
you've got to have a purpose to how you dress. The worst thing you can do is dress like an NPC, like a wallflower, like
Yeah,
these boring guys. You've got to dress like you have a say something, you know, like that's what it is. Okay.
yeah,
And like those are really extreme examples because they're like political people.
yeah.
The other good example is like the Nation of Islam, like the way they dress is on purpose. You know what I mean? That's
Mm,
like it's discipline. The way they dress is about discipline and
mm,
about their presentation is really important because it shows that they have like extreme discipline in how they live their
mm.
lives, that kind of thing. Yeah, there's good
Yeah, like the
examples. It's right.
military, like if you fold something a millimeter wrong, like you'll get caned or
Yeah,
some shit.
the military's changed a bit because over time it's become more practical. But like
Yeah,
there was a point in the history of like human military where they dressed super like extravagant, and that was all done for like prestige reasons. So
yeah.
yeah,
And then I was also watching this like hour long documentary. I'm a huge fucking Bond fan. I just finished my sixth Bond book and watched the new Bond movie the second time in theaters, and because I had to watch it in IMAX, although it actually wasn't that much better, but it was still amazing because I liked the movie. But the behind the scenes thing was talking about how they worked with some famous suit company to custom make a new suit. And I'm like, first of all, I'm like, I didn't fucking notice. But then again, like, who says that maybe I did notice subconsciously? Because I'm not a suit guy. Like, if I was a suit guy, I'd be like, oh, wow, that's a new cut that's never been done before. But, like, and maybe, like, subconsciously, like, it changed my perception of him. But, like, they were so meticulous with the way the suit was. They're like, yeah, like, we looked at all the things that Daniel Craig did, and we looked at all the things that all the other Bonds have done, and we wanted to do something new, and it was, but also with homage to the past, and it's like they just put so much effort, and that's in the Bond in general, in every single movie, especially this past one. Like I was watching several interviews with the costume director. Like they put so much effort into everything. Even that guy that I mentioned that had just a white shirt and like khaki pants, and they called him the Book of Mormon. It was hilarious. That was on purpose. That was extremely on purpose.
yeah.
And
Costume design is
yeah,
it's huge. So yeah, I also have a great respect for like the level of detail they go into. It's quite amazing.
100%.
Yeah.
Cool. So how do you like? How can people find you, and what kind of services do you offer?
So I have my website is called thehatfish.com, and I have a couple of things. So like I have a free style guide for people if they want to. It's like a starter kit. So it's not designed to get like revamp absolutely everything, but it will get you started, give you the basic ideas, give you some basic like things to go and buy. And then beyond that, I also offer consultations one-on-one. And the way to just, if you want to find out about that, just email me at thehatfish@outlook.com. And that's usually how I encourage people to get in touch with me. But check out my blog as well, tons of free content. And you've mentioned my YouTube channel already, but Radical Improvements. And I post twice a week. Self-improvement, also fashion style will be at least once a week. But I also do a little bit of self-improvement as well, just like general topics. And you'll also see the video that Joe and I did about Tinder last week, which is cool.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So with that, do you want to shout out anyone, like your mom or your anybody?
put me on the spot. Shout out to all the boys on the Killer and the Loser forums. Everything's going really well at the moment. Everyone's crushing it. So yeah, shout out to them.
All right. Ciao.
Peace.